Hey, race fans, it's Dirty Dan sitting in temporarily named Indy Race Parts studio in beautiful downtown Newburgh, Indiana. Yeah, it's cold. Yeah, it's rainy. I'd rather be out there in Tulsa where the real action is getting ready to take place. At any rate, man, we got something special for you this week. We got a collaboration of several different outlets. We've got On the Cushion Media Group, Blacklisted Promotions, Burning Rubber Radio, Performance Motorsports Network, and Roe Cowan at Red Dirt Clays also helped us out with providing a guest for the show this week. So it's really going to be a pretty cool deal, man. We're going to follow Sheldon Hodenschild, Shane Golbeck, Shane the Throttle Coddle, Joe Liguori, and track photographer Rich Foreman through their week at the Chili Bowl, and they're going to be telling us their story from their perspective on a daily basis. And you'll be able to catch the show air daily on the Performance Motorsports Network, but we're also going to upload the show to YouTube and spread the links around social media. So it's just a little different perspective that fans out there wouldn't normally get. So hope you guys enjoy it. But the big news is that the Chili Bowl will be live on pay-per-view every night on racingboys.com. So get over there, order the pay-per-view broadcast, tell them Dirty Dan sent you over there. And on top of that, on Saturday night, Racing Boys will be doing the audio live, but the show with the Chili Bowl feature, A-Main, will air on MAV TV. So check your local listings and stuff for that. It's a pretty cool deal, man. It's about time the Chili Bowl. There's some live outlets for the Chili Bowl. It's a big deal. So with that being said, I'm going to back out of here. We're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to get this started. And I believe our first guest is the Throttle, Shane Coddle. So we'll be right back right after this.
If you're a gearhead, you probably go online to those hot rod superstores, drooling over the chrome and speed goodies until you find just the right item for your muscle car, tuner car, truck. But what do you do when it comes to fixing the mom mobile? If you're like most do-it-yourselfers, you head to the strip mall parts store and talk to the "Do you want fries with that?" kid behind the counter. Hold on, Bunky. Did you stop to think where those chain stores are getting the parts that you're installing in the vehicle that's used to transport your family everywhere? They get the cheapest suppliers they can find to sell you the parts at bargain prices. Their limited lifetime warranties? What a joke. Remember the last time Mom's car broke down? You heard about that one for weeks. Don't take that chance again. Excelsior Racing has the quality parts you need for your family vehicle. Parts that you can install knowing you're getting the best for your family. Excelsior Racing. Quality parts, personalized service, affordable pricing, fast to you direct. Excelsior Racing. Online at excelsiorracing.com or call 502-909-2034.
Hey, on the Cushion Media Group fans, Chili Bowl fans, midget fans, Power USAC, man, they're all coming together this weekend out at Tulsa, as you know. And this is the big Chili Bowl show, preview show brought to you by Indy Race Parts. And as a matter of fact, we have one of those Indy Race Parts sponsored drivers amongst other sponsors. As a matter of fact, they had some big news yesterday, and we'll let him tell you about that. But we have none other than Shane the Throttle Coddle on the phone with us, and we're going to be with him all week long. How you doing today, Shane?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing all right, man. I think I'm doing a little better than you, man. I forgot our interview time slot yesterday. I just hung up on you a minute ago. But you, my man, aren't even on the road to Tulsa yet. You're packing your trailer up as we speak, aren't you?
Yeah, we're running a little bit behind. They're still putting stickers on the cars as we speak, so we're a little bit behind right now.
Are they going to be riding in the trailer, going down the road, putting them stickers on the car?
They might be the way it looks.
That's always a good time, man. That's where the cooler's full of beer and everything's at, man. I'd rather ride in the trailer anyway. Let's get out there. There's a ton of people out there that know who you are, but for those rookie stripers out there that listen to us, let's tell everybody a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you're doing, man.
Well, we live in Kokomo, Indiana, and we run usually, non-wing sprint cars and with the USAC and local tracks and midgets whenever we can, and we just go out there and run as many places as we can get to and hope for the best whenever we get there.
Usually it ends up for the best for you, man. It's feast or famine with you, man. You're always up there running, ripping the lip and letting her eat. And you put on a show. You're worth the price of admission. That's a fact. But now you're heading out to the Chili Bowl. You've had some successes out there. Tell me a little bit about what the Chili Bowl means to you as you're getting ready to head out there this year.
Chili Bowl is probably one of the biggest races for me. ever since the first time I went there, and watched, it was one of those things. I just wanted to go there, and hopefully one of these days we could get one of those golden drillers, and it ranks up there with the top race that I want to win. So hopefully this year will be that year.
Now you've won a preliminary event out there. I got a photo in my messages yesterday that we're using to promote you on the show this week so far with. But what was it like out there to pick up that preliminary win?
No, it was great. It's tough out there, and you beat people like Kevin Swindell on a preliminary night. It's tough to do, and we've actually won 2 of them. So you're selling me a little short there, bud.
Yeah, I was giving you a chance to throw me under the bus there. Everybody does it. So, but, hey, let's talk a little bit about that, Shane, if we can for a minute. Let's talk about just how tough the Chili Bowl is, man. On any given night, preliminary nights, the heat races would stack up against some of the best feature lineups that you see, on a weekly basis running around the country at any time. So those heat races are pretty serious deals, man. Let alone the alphabet soup come Saturday. So how important is it to get out of those preliminary nights into the A main and not have to go through all the other stuff on Saturday?
Oh, it's very important. I mean, you just got to try to finish as best as you can, because the further you're back, you'll be in an F or a G main or whatever, and you just got to go out and try your darndest just to, finish in at least the top 10 where you'll be in a B main or something. And but once you're in a B main, it's like being in a feature of anything. So it's tough to make the show.
That's a fact, man. Now, I think the latest entry numbers I seen was over 290 on the entries, with I think about 270 confirmed drivers. What I mean, usually it's what, it's usually around 250, 260, somewhere right in that area, 280 every year. Do you think the popularity of the Chili Bowl, with everything that we got going on social media wise and fringe media outlets such as ourselves, where we're not mainstream, do you think that has anything to do with the popularity of the Chili Bowl? Do you see more coverage now than you did in the past?
Yeah, actually I do. You got all the TV things now, and it's getting more and more popular to me, and people are. It was a lot better whenever it was live. I mean, whenever they had it on live TV instead of the tape delayed, but it's still a good thing.
Now, you brought up an interesting subject there, Shane, that I guess I've really never thought much about it until the past couple of years with the Swindell dominance, with the cars that they take out there and stuff, and then watching Larson run, against Kevin and Sammy both in last year's Chili Bowl. But the question for you is you mentioned that this is a one-off car, and there's, I've seen these comments out around about specifically built cars just for the Chili Bowl or the indoor races like the Power Eye races in DeCoin and stuff. Is that what you're talking about? Is this a purpose-built car versus like the normal USAC midgets or the Power Eye midgets that we see running around?
Yeah, a lot of the cars that that they go out there for the Chili Bowl, they cut down on weight because there's no weight rule, and they do whatever they can, to where it's legal in the Chili Bowl rules, but just to make them as light and as fast as you can.
Okay, now I know the answer to this question. You're going to laugh at me when I ask you this question. Tell the rookie stripers out there the difference between a square tail tank and a traditional tail tank on these midgets.
The difference is,
well,
Sammy runs them and we don't.
There you go. There you go. All right, we'll go with that. That's always a question that comes up, by the rookie stripers is why the square tail tanks, and I'm going to go with your answer. I like that answer. So now you're packing up the trailer like we discussed at the very beginning, getting ready to head out there. How many hours is it from Kokomo out there to Tulsa for you?
It's 10 hours.
And you're going to do it straight through, or we're going to do an overnight stop?
We're going to do a half and half, I think.
There you go. Got to have time for beer 30 at night. That's a fact.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, heading into, of course, we're taping this on Saturday as you're getting ready, and the show air on Sunday. So we're actually a day ahead here. But on Monday, you're going to be able to hit the track for the first time.
What's some of the things that you're going to be doing Monday, team-wise, with car and things like that? And is there a lot of changes that happens to that track on a daily basis?
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to draw a number whenever we get there, and that'll tell us where we're going to hot lap and what group, and then after everybody goes through the first time, then they'll reverse the order, so you'll get the different type of track than what you did the first round. So you'll have a tacky track the first round and hopefully a slick track the second round, and you can get an idea of what to do on each one of them. So it's a good thing, and we'll learn some stuff, and especially with the new car, and we'll make some changes to it and see what it'll do.
Now, we had mentioned that you're part of that Indy Parts race team going out there. How close do you guys work together as teammates out there? I believe Jack Hodenshield, Sheldon Hodenshield, which is another driver that we're featuring on this week's show. But how closely do you guys work together with notes or anything, or is it totally separate? Or can you tell us a little bit about how that works?
I'm sure it'll be a lot different because Jack, he's a wing guy and I'm a non-wing guy, so his driving style is going to be totally different than mine, and yeah, I'm sure the setups will be, polar opposite of each other.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. That is a fact. Have you ever done much wing racing, Shane, for the fans out there that don't know?
Yeah, in '95, I think, 94, 95, I ran a year with the wing sprint cars, and then I ran mini sprints before that, and with the wing, and it's a different thing. It's the speed's fun, but the racing to me is not near like the non-wing stuff, and it's not as exciting to me for the wings. And
all right, Shane, we're burning up your time, man. We know we know you're trying to get packed up and get out there, and I'm being a pain in your ass right now with this interview. But let's get out there. Who's writing the checks, making this happen, and sending you out there to the Chili Bowl this year?
Well, we gotta thank Bernie from Indy Race Parts for one, and the World of Outlaws coming on board with the Bloomington thing, and Spike Chassis and Toyota and Hoosier and Simpson and Butler built, and without them, we'd probably be sitting there watching it. So we got to thank all them and give them a shout out.
There you go. Bernie has been a big help. That's a fact, man. All right, one last question for you, Shane. What can we look forward to in 2014 from the Throttle, man?
Well, we're going to probably do a little bit more midget racing this year than we have in the past couple of years, and we're going to run the Epperson 2V car again and start out in Florida, and then we'll run as much as we can and whatever we can.
All right, Shane. I guess, man, we've hit that time. I've got to let you go, man. We'll find out whether you want to keep doing this next week when I call on Monday for an update, man, and see if you answer your phone or not, man. Hopefully you're not too hungover or something Monday morning, man. But we'll try to catch up with you on one of the nights when you're just hanging out, knocking down a few beers after the races. I guess one more thing that we need to get out, and I'm grabbing my note sheet here. Everybody knows how unprepared I am half the time. You actually run your preliminary night on Tuesday, so you're not going to really get to see a whole lot of action other than practice. Obviously, we don't know what heat that you're going to be in on Tuesday, but we do know you're running your preliminary on Tuesday. Does that factor in to how you go about testing and practice laps on Monday?
Yeah, kind of. It definitely, the track will be pretty similar to practice, and then compared to, it's like the more races each week or each night, the track gets a little slicker and slicker each night. So, that'll help us out a bunch on practice, and then jump right into the race on Tuesday. All
right, I got to ask. I think I know the answer, but I got to ask for the fans out there. Slick and a driver's track, get up on the wheel, or hammer down tacky?
Slick and driver's track.
There you go. All right, we're going to get out of here, and we're going to let the Throttle get his trailer packed up and get on the road out there. By the time you all hear this out there in Radio Land, he should be in Tulsa, man, but never know with him. So we'll just have to see how that trip plays out. But, Shane, thanks a lot for doing this week. I really appreciate it, man. I know the fans appreciate it, and we'll see what kind of backstories you can give us throughout the week. But good luck out there. Hopefully you come home with, at least a preliminary night win, but a Golden Driller sure would be sweet, my man.
That would be nice, and we'll talk with you tomorrow then.
All right, thanks a lot, Shane.
All right, thank you.
All right, and there you have it, folks. Shane Throttle Cottle out at Tulsa at the Chili Bowl going for that Golden Driller. We'll be back
Right back after these messages with, I believe, Shane Golbick.
Ever hire, never quit. Lofty goals in this age of shoddy quality, corporate indifference, and built-in obsolescence. It's a beacon of light in a crowded field of mediocrity. The way a company is run is an indication of how you, the customer, is going to be treated. You have a lot of choices when you're searching for auto and performance parts online and at the corner parts store. So why should you buy from Excelsior Racing? Because they're simply the best online parts supplier in the business. If you're looking for selection, ease of ordering, cost, and prompt delivery, look no further. If you have a question, our customer service hotline, staffed by knowledgeable gearheads like you, will ensure that you get what you need to fix or mod your car or truck. With 1,000 suppliers, you're guaranteed to get what you need. First time, every time. Excelsior Racing. Excellence on the track. Excellence on the road. Excellence in customer service. Online at excelsiorracing.com or call 502-909-2034.
All right, on the Cushion Media Group fans, Burning Rubber Radio, Performance Motorsports Network, man, I don't know how many different places are airing this preview show and the stories of these racers throughout the week, man. I know there's a lot of outlets that's contacting me. We're going to be putting this out on. So just look for the links, and we'll get it all figured out as we're going next week. But the next guest on this big Chili Bowl preview show is a guy, kid, I don't know what to call him, actually, man. I've never met him face to face, but we've had an awful lot of phone conversations. But met him through Bill McAnally Racing and the whole Peak thing and all that. But people's heard from you before. But Shane Golbick, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for Chili Bowl next week.
you better get your crap together, man, and get packed up so you don't miss that plane ride tomorrow morning.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of last minute scramble, getting everything ready for the biggest week long race of the year for us. So
no doubt, man.
I'm definitely excited.
No doubt. We'll get to all that in a second, man. But for the rookie stripers we got out there, that maybe don't know who Shane Golbick is or didn't hear about the huge World Outlaws win last year, man. But at any rate, for those that hadn't heard about you, man, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you're doing.
Well, I'm a California kid. I've lived in Fremont, California all my life. It's in the Bay Area, kind of near San Francisco and San Jose. I started racing when I was 5. I actually got into it because my dad used to race sprint cars in San Jose Speedway and Baylands, kind of locally in California. And even before that, my grandpa raced Volkswagens out at those same racetracks too. So I'm a third generation racer. And I kind of was, just born into racing. I think I went to my first race about 10 days old and fell in love with it ever since. And, I've been racing since I was 5. I started in the quarter midget ranks, then went up to the 600cc micros on dirt, and then got up into the sprint cars and midgets on dirt, and even got some pavement racing last year in the K&N West Series.
You talk about the dirt racing and you got some pavement racing in, man. Probably shouldn't do this, man, at this point in your career, but I'm gonna put you on the spot, brother. What do you prefer, the pavement or the dirt?
Well, I'm a dirt guy at heart. I think it's a little bit more exciting for me. Just that's kind of what I grew up around. It's what all my biggest heroes. It's what they've always done. All the outlaw guys and like Tony Stewart's and that kind of thing. Seeing dirt races, there's just nothing like it, in my opinion. But I can't knock pavement either. I've had a blast doing that too. So I'll pretty much race anything. I'm not too picky, but I definitely have to lean towards the dirt.
You're not a racing snob. You're kind of like I am, man. If it's there, we're going to watch it or we're going to do it. That's a fact. All right, man. This show's all about the Chili Bowl, all about that big race next week. Like you said, the biggest week-long race of the year, and that's a fact, man. Christmas, Santa Claus brings a good Christmas present every Christmas, doesn't he, man? He delivers us the Chili Bowl. But at any rate, man.
Oh yeah.
How many times you been out there, Shane?
This will be my 7th year, I think. I started. My first one was when I was 15, and I'll be 22 this year. So it'll be my 7th one, and we've had some pretty good success the last 3 or 4 years at that deal. So I'm looking forward to trying to make the A-Main again. I made it 3 out of the last 4 years to the A-Main on Saturday night. So I'm expecting to get my car up into that A-Main again this year. see if we can improve on our best 7th place finish last year. So see if we can do a little bit better.
All right. You talk about, I mean, that was a pretty good, incredible run last year, you know, on the 7th. And you talked about how hard it was to make it through. You kind of touched on it a little bit going through the alphabet soup on Saturdays. And I talked to Shane Cottle a little bit about this in his interview. Obviously, it's easier to make it out through the preliminary nights. But what's your mindset going into it this year after the finish that you had last year?
You know, I'm pretty confident going into it. I know the format of the Chili Bowl requires you to be at the top of your game at all times, and also, you know, you got to get a little bit of luck. There's 270 cars there, and you know, 100 of them are good enough to make it to the A main, and you know, they only take the top 22 or 24. So you're going to need a little bit of luck, and that's something you definitely got to keep in the back of your mind, and try to limit any mistakes you can make on the track, and take what you can get. It's all about accumulating points over the course of the week, and I think that's one of my strengths. I've been able to kind of take what I get and not force the issue and cause an issue where I lose points. You just try to always, everything you do every time you hit the track, just pass a few cars, and if you do that, and by the end of the week, you'll be up there where you want to be.
Now, you touched on a little something there. You know, you talk about, you know, on dirt, we're always talking about the difference between dirt and pavement. You know, on dirt, you can kind of adjust your line, move around, you know, and make up differences for either the way the car is handling or the traffic you got to move through. You know, there's a whole lot more options. And to top that all off, mistakes are a little easier to overcome. Well, not a little, a lot easier to overcome on dirt than they are on pavement. But this race in particular doesn't allow you very many mulligans, does it, when it comes to mistakes?
No, not at all. Yeah, one mistake on that track. It's, you know, it's one of the smallest tracks midgets race on all year, and it's real tight, close racing. Everybody's, you know, doing their best to try and get to the front, and even sometimes you can get caught up in things that are not your fault. Get, you know, a guy up in front of you who's a little bit too aggressive, and you end up, you know, getting caught up in their problems. So that's another thing. You got to kind of just keep your eyes open in front of you and try to limit any big mistakes. And if you can do that and then be fast every time you hit the track, then you should be you know.
All right, I think we've talked. Well, one more question about what you're going out there to do on the Chili Bowl, but are you taking out? We've talked to we talked to Shane a little earlier. They're taking a one-off car out there, and I know a lot of other guys do too. And there's been a lot of talk about that the last few years with the Swindell domination out there and everything. But the car that you're taking, is it a one-off? You know, since there's no weight rules and things there. Or is it something that you could run at a sanctioned midget race for like USAC or POWRi or something like that?
No, yeah, our car will be the same car I would race at any other USAC or POWRi race throughout the year. So we're not going to be trying to do anything too special. We're going to try and keep it simple and keep it comfortable with what you know I'm used to driving. And we've had good success with this car at that track. We've made the A-main with it, so I definitely think it's capable. I know, you know, a lot of guys are going to be bringing, you know, super lightweight, specialized cars to Chili. That might be an advantage, be a mental advantage even if you just feel like you got a better. That might help you that way too. Mentally, I think our car is going to be. This car is basically just, you know, your standard spike chassis with that Slinger motor, and I think we're just going to have to see if we can, you know, make up that difference and keep up with the Swindells ourselves.
Now, all right, we've talked enough about that big show out there, and of course we're going to be talking to you every night or every day next week, and checking in with its story, how you're going. I think you roll off Wednesday night in your preliminary run on Wednesday night, so you got a practice day and a full day of watching out there. So let's talk about it. You mentioned you as a California kid, man. And, you know, I'm over here in this cold, land-bound state of Indiana, man. So I hear some wild things you California kids do, man.
Yeah, we don't have to deal with the weather like you guys do. You know, it stays pretty nice all the time. And that's one of the things I actually kind of like about going to Chili Bowl. You get a little bit of a different feel for the weather and everything, and get to see some snow. We don't get any snow over here, so but yeah, I gotta love California weather. I mean, it doesn't get much better. You know, the coldest it'll ever get is 30 or so. it makes for good summers. That's for sure. So we have fun out here. I love California.
Well, I'll tell you what. You tell Tammy that I'll take up your bed and sleep in your room, and you come here and sleep at my house, man. You can see all the snow you want. But I'll take some of that California weather, man. I'm missing my Florida and the Caribbean. That's a fact. But what kinds of things do you like to do out there, man? You surf, or are you in an area where you're close to the ocean, or tell me a little bit about yourself. Let everybody out there know a little bit about what you do away from the track, man.
Yeah, we're pretty close to the ocean. I mean, we're really close to the bay. You can't really do much surfing or anything like that in the bay, but you can go down south towards Santa Cruz, and there's a lot of surfing going on down there. I'm not really your typical California boy that way. I'm not a surfer type, or I'm not like Spicoli on Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Not quite that level, but I like going outdoors and stuff. Going on little hikes maybe, or and then I'm a full-time student at San Jose State doing my getting my engineering degree. So a lot of my time goes towards that.
Right on,
I'm almost
man.
done getting my degree, so that's something that's really important to me. And then other than that, yeah, I go to the races whenever I can. Have a blast.
How has that engineering degree helped you in your racing, Shane? Has it helped at all with geometry and car setups and things like that, or is it just something?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it definitely helps. It definitely plays into my favor. I feel like I can understand the cars better, and you can kind of understand what different changes will do theoretically, and when you make a change, you kind of have a better understanding of what you should expect, and that way you could be looking for that feel, and if you don't get that feel, then you could, kind of tune your car up that way. So I think that's one thing Sammy Swindell's so good at. He's kind of a self-taught engineer, and he obviously has those two Chili Bowl cars dialed in all the time. So that's kind of something I'd like to, aspire to be, just as much of a mechanic and a setup guy as a driver. So.
I don't think that's bad goals to have, man. You're seeing a lot of the young kids like you coming up, and they're really focusing on the engineering backgrounds. I think it all started probably back when Newman was coming up. He was probably one of the true first schooled engineers, or college educated engineers. Unlike like you mentioned with Sammy, there's a lot of racers out there that learned it that way. That's a fact, and probably couldn't spit out codes and formulas and things like that to you, but they could definitely make things work. That's a fact.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right, man. We're getting about that time where time to let you get back to packing them bags so you can get to the Chili Bowl so we can even have a show, man. And hopefully you'll have one of them golden drillers. But who's writing the checks to get you there this year, brother? I'm
going to be driving for Doug Bach. He owns the car. It's a beautiful black 26 car. It's going to be out there. I've run for him and his midget for the past 5 years or so. He was actually the first guy to ever put me in a midget. So it's pretty cool to go back with him again. And it's kind of a family feel to it. I've known him a long time. It's going to be a blast hanging out with him. So that's definitely one guy I got to thank, and I got to thank all my sprint car owners too for we're starting to work on plans for next year. So got to thank everybody who's given me an opportunity. It's going to be Joe Von Schultz. He owns the 121 car, which we won the Outlaw Show in Antioch last year. I'm going to run some 410 stuff with him, and then I'm going to be back in the Keith Day trucking number 22 for 360 stuff. So I got to thank them as well. I got to thank Steve Osborne he's still working on trying to get me some more pavement stock car races next year. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, I'm sure we'll catch up with you. You're a good friend of the show here. So of all the radio shows on PMN, so I'm sure we'll catch up with you throughout the season and see what's going on. We still got to get you recruited over there to that blacklisted page, man. So that's a conversation we got to have down the road. But at any rate,
yeah, sounds good. Yep.
All right, man. Hey, you good luck out there. Have a safe flight, man. Safe travels and everything. We'll talk to you on Monday, which will be practice day, and it'd be really interesting to talk to you that morning to see what your mindset is. Once you've got there, you've seen the track, and you kind of flip that switch from everyday guy to super racer. So. It'd be interesting to talk to you then, and really interesting on Tuesday to see what you got to say about practice day on Monday, man. But anything before we get out of here, you wanna shout out to anybody or anything before we get out of here, buddy?
No, I just want to thank you for following me around for this Chili Bowl deal. I think it's going to be cool, different perspective for the listeners to hear, different guys like, Shane Cottle and Sheldon, talking about their week, and I think it'll be a pretty cool thing. I'm happy to be a part of it.
I really appreciate you guys doing it, man. You don't know what it means to be doing this for something as small as On the Cushion. It's really pretty cool, man. But I don't think for some reason between the guys we got lined up for this show, I'm thinking all of you are going to be in the show Saturday night, and I'm going to have a really hard time saying anything publicly about who I'm yelling for.
Yeah, well, I hope that's an issue you have to face. Hopefully we're all up there. But yeah, it should be a really fun week.
I hope so, man. I hope so. Like I said, Shane, we'll look forward to talking to you and following you and telling everybody out there your story of the week, man. And like I said, a little different perspective than what goes on. And once again, remember, y'all can catch the pay-per-view live every day on racingboys.com and on MAV TV Saturday the 18th. The Chili Bowl will be live, so big shout out to them, MAV TV and racingboys.com, for all the coverage this year. It's going to be awesome. Shane, we'll talk to you on Monday, my man. Be safe, brother. And with that, we'll be back right after these messages.
If you're a gearhead, you probably go online to those hot rod superstores, drooling over the chrome and speed goodies until you find just the right item for your muscle car, tuner car, truck. But what do you do when it comes to fixing the mom mobile? If you're like most do-it-yourselfers, you head to the strip mall parts store and talk to the "Do you want fries with that?" kid behind the counter. Hold on, Bunky. Did you stop to think where those chain stores are getting the parts that you're installing in the vehicle that's used to transport your family everywhere? They get the cheapest suppliers they can find to sell you the parts at bargain prices. Their limited lifetime warranties? What a joke. Remember the last time Mom's car broke down? You heard about that one for weeks. Don't take that chance again. Excelsior Racing has the quality parts you need for your family vehicle. Parts that you can install knowing you're getting the best for your family. Excelsior Racing. Quality parts, personalized service, affordable pricing, fast to you direct. Excelsior Racing. Online at excelsiorracing.com or call 502-909-2034.
All right, on the Cushion Media Group, fans, listeners, Burning Rubber Radio, Performance Motorsports Network, and I can't remember how many other. Here we are. We're back on the Indy Race Parts Chili Bowl Spotlight Preview Show. And we've got a big name here, man. We've got a lot to talk about with this next young cat coming up. And telling you, he's got a shot at a Golden Driller this year. You just know he does. But anyway, we have on the phone with us Mr. Sheldon Haudenschild. How you doing, Sheldon?
Doing pretty good.
I always get tongue-tied on your last name, man. I'm just going to start. Now I know why they called your dad what they called him, man. It's that last name.
Haudenschild.
There you go. Hillbillies like me have a problem putting all those syllables together. But anyway, man, we got a bunch of rookie stripers out there, so let's back up a little bit. And obviously, they know your name now, but tell us where you're from, where you're at, and what you do, man.
20 years old from Worcester, Ohio. This will be my 5th year in a sprint car and my 3rd Chili Bowl, so looking forward to this year.
It's going to be a fun time out there, man. It's probably going to be one of the best Chili Bowls, competitive Chili Bowls in a long time. That's for sure. But now you're going out there and you're running for Bernie at Indy Race Parts, correct?
Yeah, running for Bernie and Indy Race Parts. I've been with him the 3 years I've been here. That helps out. With my dad being in the team car, that helps out too.
Now, we're going to talk about your dad here in a minute. There's no way we can talk to you this first time without bringing your dad up and talking about him a little bit. But tell us a little bit about your history, man. What have you been racing, and how'd you come up, and things like that?
Started off racing just local in 2009, just 360 sprint cars at Lima, and then 2010 got in a 410, and been racing those for the last 4 years, kind of mostly all-star and some outlaw shows here around where I live in Ohio and kind of in that area. And it's been going pretty good, just getting some laps under me and some experience, and knocked up a couple wins last year and this year. So looking to do the same again this year and just try and get to more races than I have been.
You know what? We're talking about all the 410s and stuff that you've been running, and obviously, your dad's a wild child, Jack Hodenshield, and have you had a chance to race with him heads up in a wing or non-wing car yet, or how's all that been turning out?
Actually, yeah, last year we got to race quite a bit together. A couple all-star races, we were right there with each other, and a couple outlaw races too. So it's been pretty fun.
Now, how do you go about that, man? Obviously, you know what the fans think about your dad. He's huge in the sprint car world. But how do you go about that, man? You're out on the track with him. Do you race him hard, or do you cut him a little slack?
Definitely don't cut him any slack. Just another guy, and trying to beat him, but that's tough to do sometimes.
Yeah, that's a fact. All right, man. We'll quit talking about him. This is all about Sheldon, man. So that's got to be a little different, being the star of the show, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, man. All right, so you're heading to your third Chili Bowl, you said. Tell us about the first couple times you've been out there.
The first time was all right. Got some laps. Kept her on all fours, and then last year I actually felt really good. I was in the D main, made it to the C, and I missed the B main by one spot. So last year wasn't too bad. Just hoping to do better this year and get her in the show.
Now, talking about that, this is probably one of the hardest shows to get a car in the A main, to get to race your way into the A main. It's a little different with the passing points and the number of drivers out there, let alone the level of skill that's out there. The competition level's just through the roof. But talk to us a little bit about that. How hard it is to actually put the car in the show on Saturday night.
Yeah, definitely. With almost 300 entries from, every racing group around the U.S., it's definitely difficult. Just got to be smart and make moves and just try and progress every race you're out there and really take advantage of the laps you're getting.
Now, is it something you've raced in it for the last 3 years now, or this would be your third year? But is it something that you've grown up with? Do you feel pretty comfortable when you get there? Let's look back to your first time there. What was the comfort level? Pretty decent. Obviously, you've been there probably many times with your dad.
No, actually, these are the only 3 times I've been here, so it's a little different. These are the only times I've ever raced a midget too, but it's not too different. I mean, the track's really different than anything else we race on, but it's different for everyone, so it's pretty even playing field.
Well, I didn't know that. You just schooled me, buddy. You said this is the only time that you really run a midget. What's the biggest adjustments that you have to make? Obviously, you brought up the track's really different than any place you ever run, or most people run. What's some of the differences that you got to put your mindset in getting out of the sprint car and then going to the midget on this little bitty track?
I mean, it's not too different. Things happen fast on that small track, but just got to stay smart and keep her on all 4 wheels.
That's a fact. Now, why don't you tell us who's writing the checks to get you out to Tulsa this year?
Yeah, I definitely think Bernie at Indy Race Parts wouldn't be able to do it without him. Butler Built, Simpson, Creative Renovations, and definitely my mom and dad, everyone who helps out. Appreciated.
And if anybody wants to follow you and get a hold of Sheldon Hodenshield and follow your career and things like that, you got a Twitter page, website, Facebook page, things like that?
Yeah, we got a Hodenshield Racing website and also on Facebook and on Twitter too. So got a lot of ways we can the fans can follow and post a lot of pictures and things what we're doing and a lot of updates during the races and all that during the summer.
Right on, cool, man. There's a lot of places to check you out there. Then, now let's move away from racing for a minute, Sheldon, if we can. Tell me some of the things and the fans out there, some of the things you do away from the race shop and away from the track. What is it that you like to do, man?
Well, I grew up racing motocross from when I was 4 to 16, so still do that quite a bit. And other than that, just work in the garage with my dad and try and stay busy during the week in the winter when we're don't have much to do.
There's not much to do, is there, in the winter in Ohio? I'm over here in Indiana, so I feel you there, man. And get cooped up in the garage. moving into 2014, what's some of the plans that you have after the Chili Bowl's done and over? What are you going to be doing this year, man?
Well, right now we don't really have much plans. We're trying to gather up some sponsorship for our family-owned 93 car, but no luck so far with that. So if anything, just get that to the bigger races, Kings Royal and stuff, and mainly just looking for a ride and drive someone else's car and anything really, wing, non-wing, midgets, doesn't matter to me. I'm just trying to find a ride and not have to run my parents' car.
You got to have some seat time. That's a fact. Now, do you find it hard? You just mentioned there running your parents' car. Do you find it harder running for family, or do you find it easier running for family?
It's definitely easier running the family car. Things are just how we want it, but it's also harder too with the money situation. So it's tough to say.
That's a fact. That's about a lot like our buddies here in Indiana, Kevin and Chase Briscoe. I know they went through that switch from Kevin getting out of the season sprint car and Chase getting in, and I imagine your situation's a lot like that. With your dad that's been so successful and trying to get into the seat of that car, but he's not quite ready to give up that wheel yet, is he?
No, definitely not.
He's still on top of his game. That's a fact. All right, Sheldon, we're going to be talking to you every day out here at the Chili Bowl. Going to be calling and bugging you, and I've talked about this off air, so I'm going to be a major pain in your butt this week. So we'll check in with you and follow you, man. But going in, you're on the road right now. We're talking to you. You said you was just outside Missouri somewhere, and you're kind of cruising down the road, and it's the calm before the storm. We always talk about racers, and when that switch actually flips and you go from just, every day Sheldon Haudenschild, and then you turn into the racer, the beast behind the wheel. When will that switch finally flip for you, or has it already?
When we get to the track and tomorrow when we get to run some hot laps and then kind of break cars down, and then we got 3 or 4 days off till we get to race again. So, I'm on Thursday, Dad's on Friday. So Thursday when we get to run a heat race, and that'll be a good deal.
Now, how hard is that going to be, Sheldon? I know that's an indoor track, and they do a really good job prepping that track, but it's going to get slicker and slicker, obviously, as the week goes on, the more cars that run. But you're going to get to practice on actually tomorrow. It'll be today when this show airs, but tomorrow on Monday you'll get to practice, and then you have to set for a few days before you get back out on the track, man. How do you, in your mind, what are you going to be thinking, and what will you take from the Monday test sessions? And will anything really apply come Thursday night when you run your heat race?
Yeah, definitely. I think it helps. We'll get to watch a lot of races too and see how guys are passing people. And then I think it's better going late in the week, get to run, and then I'll only have to wait a day, and then it'll be Saturday night. So I think it definitely helps.
I have to agree with you, man. I think a lot of guys, the butterflies, will be calmed down later on in the week. That first night's going to be, pretty rough. Everybody's fired up, ready to go. So, anything else you're looking at? You got in the back of your mind, man, that you're kind of just thinking about from the previous first 2 years going into this year? Like, is there anything? I guess what I'm asking is there anything that you're dead set that you're not going to do this year, or mistakes that you've made in the past that's right there sticking in your mind?
Not really. Just eliminate the small mistakes and try and make consistent laps and get around the other guys. So if you do that, you should be all right.
I agree, man. It's all about minimizing mistakes out there. That's for sure. Passing points and the level of competition is just it's out of this world, man. Well, we wish you luck this week, Sheldon, and I really want to tell you thank you for doing this. This is going to be pretty cool this week, getting to follow your story out at the Chili Bowl and kind of getting the behind-the-scenes look at what you're going through. And you don't know how much we appreciate this. I know the fans out there are going to appreciate it. So once again, tell everybody out there, I know you're on the sponsor hunt for 2014. So once again, give all the information to where people can get a hold of you or Haudenschild Racing to throw some money your way, man.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter at Haudenschild Racing and Facebook at Haudenschild Racing, and then also our website, HaudensschildRacing.com, and that'd be great.
All right, that'll work. Before we get out of here, any shout-outs you want to give to anybody out there, man?
Thanks to Bernie at Indy Race Parts and Jeannie at Butler Built Seats Simpson and Creative Renovation.
Sounds good, my man. All right, we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you tomorrow and see what you're up to. See what practice is looking like, and then we'll talk to you out, like I said, every day this week. And once again, thanks for doing this. And you be safe on that trip, man. You got a couple 100 miles left to go, man. So you going to take a nap, or you going to relieve your dad from driving?
I'll hang with him.
There you go. All right, man. You take care, Sheldon, and we'll see you later,
right.
buddy. All right, there you have it.
Yep,
On the
thanks a lot.
You're welcome, man. Thank you.
Ever hire, never quit. Lofty goals in this age of shoddy quality, corporate indifference, and built-in obsolescence. It's a beacon of light in a crowded field of mediocrity. The way a company is run is an indication of how you, the customer, is going to be treated. You have a lot of choices when you're searching for auto and performance parts online and at the corner parts store. So why should you buy from Excelsior Racing? Because they're simply the best online parts supplier in the business. If you're looking for selection, ease of ordering, cost, and prompt delivery, look no further. If you have a question, our customer service hotline, staffed by knowledgeable gearheads like you, will ensure that you get what you need to fix or mod your car or truck. With 1,000 suppliers, you're guaranteed to get what you need. First time, every time. Excelsior Racing. Excellence on the track. Excellence on the road. Excellence in customer service. Online at ExcelsiorRacing.com or call 502-909-2034.
All right, here we are. We're back on this Chili Bowl preview show brought to you by Indy Race Parts. Man, I'll tell you what, the racers we're talking to, the people involved in this year, it's going to be off the hook. These guys are crazy, but I'm super excited about this surprise guest, man. We didn't even know that he was going to do the show this year until, I don't know, man, like 10 minutes ago. And I owed this cat some interviews and some talk time, but you guys are really going to like him, man. He's come on the scene within about the last year and a half as far as the big national tour scene. I know you guys know his work. I know you people out there have seen his work. Mr. Rich Foreman from Rich Foreman Photography. How you doing this morning, buddy?
Good, man. Good. Enjoying this Tulsa weather.
You're on Tulsa time out there, aren't you, man? I'm glad you made it safe. I woke up this morning at like 4 o'clock this morning and seen your post that you'd made it to Tulsa, man. So seems like everybody's getting out there. What's the weather like out there, brother?
It's good. It's supposed to be upper 60s today, and then looks like we're going to have about mid-50s throughout the whole week, and sunshine and some no rain and no ice.
Yeah, I don't think there's any need for jet dryers or really a big worry about the weather, is there, other than getting from the hotel to the track this week?
That's it. As long as you get in the building, it's all nice inside.
It's on like Donkey Kong. Eh? Boy, that's timed and dated, isn't it? On like Donkey Kong, man. That's showing my age.
Uh-huh.
But, all right, Rich.
I know what you're talking about.
I was going to say, man, you just won't laugh at it. You won't put yourself in the same category as me, man. You don't want to do that, believe me. All right, man. You're out there at the Chili Bowl. First of all, being as this preview show, and we got a lot of rookie stripers out there, man. Let's hear who you are, where you're from, and exactly what it is you're doing, Rich.
Yeah, I'm from Kokomo, Indiana, and I'm out here shooting pictures at the Chili Bowl. This will be about my 6th or 7th in a row now, and out here just basically taking pictures, and then gonna go home and edit them down and do my thing to them.
Now, you say you're just out there taking pictures, man. But if I could reach through this microphone and just kind of slap you around a little bit, I'd do that, man. Because what you do, Rich, is call it what you want, man. But it's pretty important to telling the story of what's going on in the racing world, no matter where you're at. You go to a lot of the big shows and things like that. And in future episodes, man, we're going to have you back on and we'll talk about how you got started and stuff. But
yeah.
You go to these big shows and everything, you're telling the story of what's going on at these places with these pictures that you post. And of course, we'll get to your website and stuff and how people can check out your work. But how's that make you feel, man, that some of the pictures that you take as a photog there at the tracks can actually, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, kind of go viral or certain people depend on seeing that stuff because they can't get to the events. So I guess
yeah.
What do you think about all that?
Yeah, I mean it's neat. I mean, the whole idea of for me being a photographer is you're preserving that moment in time, and to be able to be at some of the places and capture some of the moments that that people talk about and tell stories about, and then actually have a picture to kind of go along with that it's pretty cool. And the ad work stuff that sometimes pictures end up in, it's a big deal. It surely is, but it's the fun of it, really. I just enjoy it so much that it doesn't seem like work until the race is over and you're at home and slaving in front of the computer.
Now, you and I were talking a little bit about, before we went live, about the difference, in the different spots that you can be at a racetrack watching a race. And the infield, man, there's just nothing like being in that infield, is there?
Yeah, I always say I feel like I got the best seat in the house. I mean, when you're standing on the edge of that racetrack and you're shooting pictures, and some of these places you can get pretty close. You almost feel like you could reach out and touch them, and you see things from down there. You're so close and you're so right on top of the action that sometimes you can see things that sitting in the stands you don't notice as much. You can really see the drivers working and different things, and it's definitely a really cool perspective to be able to watch racing from.
What you just said, Rich. It kind of reminds me of that iconic photo from Indy, from the fairgrounds of the old IndyCar sprint car, dirt car out there on the big Indy Mile, where the guy's going through the corner and he's flipping off the photogs on the inside of the fence.
Oh yeah,
right there. That's something that I've never done, man. Have you ever been able to do that, like at Terre Haute or Springfield, right up there on the fence? Tell me about that, man.
Man, Indy Mile. I mean, that picture. I mean, I've been able to do that, stand right there on that rail at the Indy Mile and watch them go around. With the left front basically inches from you. I mean, it's pretty awesome. It's a cool feeling, and
that has to be.
My buddy Ross Weiss have actually had an idea to try to recreate that one of these days. So it's probably going to happen.
Well, tell me, do you have a driver in mind to recreate that with? I've got a few in mind right now for you, man, suggestions, but
yeah, we'll
keep
probably,
them private.
Yeah, we'll definitely, it's definitely going to have to be recreated. That is an iconic picture that definitely needs a new modern spin on it.
It really is. Hey, let me ask you, because, I've dug into the history of that, and I was actually talking to John Mahoney about it, and it's really not clear who took that picture or who to give it credit to, as far as I know. Do you know anything more about that picture?
I've tried to dig into it, and I didn't say more. I'd love to know who did it. Of course, I've always said, I'm such an old school kind of guy. If there is ever a time machine, I want to take my camera and go back and shoot those guys, because that was just such an awesome time in racing that I wouldn't want to do it on film again, but man, to go back there with a digital camera and be able to shoot them guys like that'd be awesome.
Let's talk about a little bit about the time that it takes. People think that the photographers are in there inside the track. You got a digital cameraman. You go home, you stick the memory card in the computer, upload them, boom, you're done. Put them on a website, sell them. In reality, it's nothing like that, is it?
No, there's a lot of work to it. I mean, I put a lot into, looking over each one and making them the best I can. And, and the whole kind of doing the editing and the graphics and all that. I mean, I've been a big-time Photoshop guy since, years back in high school and all that. And, as I moved along through taking pictures and, got pretty good at taking a picture, and kind of realized, there's a lot of guys out here that can take a good picture, and I got lots of idols, like Dave Merritt and John Mahoney, Rick Lane, and just guys that are just awesome. And being able to shoot next to those guys and knowing they're taking just as good a picture, it's not better. And it's like, I got to find a way to stand out. I got to be able to put my own spin on it to where, I want to be as good as them, and I'm not going to do it just taking a picture. So we got to start doing the editing and the graphics, and it's kind of it's definitely evolved.
There's a lot of hours put into it, that's for sure. Now, it's a funny story how you and I actually ended up sitting here talking to each other today, and it's kind of taken longer than it should have, but we were both at the Indianapolis airport, and I was flying in from Miami from the NASCAR Homestead weekend, and Rich was flying in from out west. You told me where it was, Rich, but everybody knows I'm
about at Western World.
Yeah, Western World. And I walk outside the airport. Of course, me and my habits. I needed a cigarette, man, so I'm lighting a cigarette, and I look up, and there's a Rich Foreman photography sweatshirt in front of me, walking down the sidewalk, and I'm like, man, I wonder. So, I just thought, what the hell, man? You know how I am, man. So I was, oh, hey, Rich, and we got to talking for a minute, and you was about half as tired and ready to be home as I was, man. So we really didn't get to talk much that night, and we were supposed to hook up between now and then. But anyway, man, you were a celebrity at Indianapolis International Airport for a night, man. That had to scare the shit out of you.
I was like, man, I definitely did not expect that. And then I was like, man, that's cool.
You turn around and there's this big fat guy behind you, this big fat hairy guy behind you saying, Rich, will you sign this kitty for me? Will you sign this man boob?
That's almost like me at the racetrack with my own picture trying to get him signed by guys.
That's the way it works out, man. All right, so you're out there, you're out in Tulsa this week, and you're going to be taking pictures, and we really need to get out there. Where can people find your work and purchase your pictures at, and see your gallery?
Yeah, I got a website. It's called richforemanphotos.com, and that's where I post everything. And I usually post picture galleries, and then there's other galleries. There's the galleries of just total what I call photo art. Where I take the picture and just try to turn it into a piece of art. Different stuff like that. And then there's another category for the race ad stuff I've been doing, which has kind of been the big thing here in the last year. And the race ads evolved from, back in the 60s, the races used to have those paper ads hanging up everywhere.
Right.
And I got to go to Dick Jordan's house and see some of the old, USAC race ads.
Wow,
and
that had to light a fire.
Oh, man, I was like, that is what's missing. Back then you used to be able to get the paper race ad. You could walk through the pits and you could have all your drivers sign it. And it's like, there's no race ads like that anymore. So I started doing those, and they're on there. And then, of course, the Facebook page is always blowing up. I'm always putting stuff on there. So.
All right, Rich is going to be hanging out with us. I talked him into it, man. I don't know how in the hell I done it. Actually, I'll tell you how I done it. I had somebody, one of my operatives out there, grab his camera bag. So he's only got one battery for his camera. He's got to call us every day and send us a couple pictures every day to post on the Cushion Media Group page, and then he gets a fresh battery. That's how we got it worked out, man. So, Rich, you'll get your camera bag back Saturday night after the A-Main, all right, brother?
That would work. That's good. At least I get it back. I had one stolen a couple of years ago, so.
That's not cool, man. That's not cool at all. What's coming up after the Chili Bowl, man? What do you got coming up, and where are you going to be at in 2014?
After the Chili Bowl, I get a couple weeks off, probably be editing a lot of pictures, and then get ready to head off to USAC opener in Florida. Probably going to be probably at the majority of the USAC races this year across all three divisions.
All right, man. We'll talk to you every day this week. We'll call you every morning and bug the shit out of you. And we look forward to seeing some pictures. And I know we've had a talk, and you're going to send some pictures in, of who's for the show. So we'll look forward to getting those. And once again, richforemanphotos.com. Get over there, check it out. You're going to love the work. There's going to be pictures there. He's got the big name is in USAC all the way down to the local guys there, like you said, in the mini sprints and stuff. So get over there, check it out. Quality, very well worth a look. I'm sure he's not an expensive guy, so get over there and check that out. Rich, thanks a lot for doing this year. Really appreciate it, man. And
not a problem, man. I think it's going to be fun. I think I'm going to really enjoy it.
I think you are too, man. It's going to be really cool to tell your story this week. We got the racer's perspective, and I've always wanted to tell the story of the photog, so I can really relate to it. And I wish I had the skills that you got, man, but it's not happening. Everybody knows that. So, but I'll live vicariously through you this week. So, like I said, look forward to telling your story this week, man. It's going to be a pretty cool deal. So, but before we go, Rich, do you have any shout outs you want to give, man, before we get out of here?
Man, I'd love to give a big shout out to my wife. I mean, I think for all of us that do this, it always takes that good one behind us, and without her, I definitely probably wouldn't be here.
Definitely takes a special woman to put up with this racing thing, no matter whether you're in the seat or you're in the support arena, like you and I are. It definitely takes a special woman to put up with it. That's a fact. So big shout out to Allie. What's her name?
Allie.
There you go. Big shout out to Allie Foreman. And she's sitting at home, or is she with you this week?
She's at home with our little one, our little 2-year-old Jackson. So Eddie's getting a break this week.
Daddy gets a break all the time, though. Actually, it's probably Allie that's getting the break this week. She's sending you off.
It might be.
All right, man, Rich. We'll catch up with you tomorrow and check in and see what you think, man, and get us some good photos. And once again, richforemanphotos.com. Get over and check it out, man. You won't be disappointed. We'll be right back after these messages.
If you're a gearhead, you probably go online to those hot rod superstores, drooling over the chrome and speed goodies until you find just the right item for your muscle car, tuner car, truck. But what do you do when it comes to fixing the mom mobile? If you're like most do-it-yourselfers, you head to the strip mall parts store and talk to the "Do you want fries with that?" kid behind the counter. Hold on, Bunky. Did you stop to think where those chain stores are getting the parts that you're installing in the vehicle that's used to transport your family everywhere? They get the cheapest suppliers they can find to sell you the parts at bargain prices. Their limited lifetime warranties? What a joke. Remember the last time Mom's car broke down? You heard about that one for weeks. Don't take that chance again. Excelsior Racing has the quality parts you need for your family vehicle. Parts that you can install knowing you're getting the best for your family. Excelsior Racing. Quality parts, personalized service, affordable pricing, fast to you direct. Excelsior Racing. Online at excelsiorracing.com or call 502-909-2034.
All right, on the Cushion Media Group fans, Burning Rubber Radio, Performance Motorsports Network. We are back, and we are still talking Chili Bowl and the preview show brought to you by Indy Race Parts. And we've got the final piece of the puzzle on the phone with us right now. He's finally made it out to Tulsa. They got all set up and everything, but we'll hear more about that in a minute. But we got Mr. Joe Liguori on the phone with us. How you doing, Joe?
Oh, doing pretty good. Just got everything situated in the pit area and just trying to, driver mechanic, you got to help get everything ready. So, you know how that goes.
Yeah, one-man band. There you go, man. You got to do everything. That you was telling me as we was talking, they kind of got you guys sardined in there inside the building this year.
Yeah, there's probably close to 300 entries this year. I'd say they're going to have, and there's a lot of multiple car teams, and they're having to take up a couple pit spaces, and they're just kind of piled in there. You got the big semi sitting in the middle, and then us with like the 30-footers and smaller trailers all up along the sides, like a bunch of sardines. But it's not too bad. We got 4 cars shoved in our 3 stall pit area, so not bad.
That's not bad, is it? There's plenty of room there. I liked your spot you had up in Fort Wayne, man, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's get started here. We got a bunch of rookie stripers out there, so let's hear all about who you are, where you're from, and what it is you're doing, man.
Name's Joe Liguori. I'm from Tampa, Florida. I've been running midgets for, I'd say 12 years now, and been running some sprint car stuff too, on and off. This is actually my first Chili Bowl. We've had a few opportunities to come out here and didn't really have everything solidified, and finally had her solidified this year, and we're out here to see if we can do our best.
Sounds like a blast, man. You mentioned something there. This is your first Chili Bowl, and that's kind of the 2 stories that we're following with you this week. The first one is obviously your first trip to the Chili Bowl, but the other one was due to some circumstances up at the Rumble a few weeks ago, man. We're following this car that you run at the Rumble, and you had a little accident up there.
Yeah, it was funny. It was actually my wife. She made the show also, and she got a little out of shape and got sideways, and I ran into her, and when I wrecked, it bent the frame a little bit, so we had to kind of hustle to get the car apart and fix the frame and get it put back together and back set up for dirt. It's kind of a deal where it's just me and my wife working on the cars, so we had to hustle to get it done, and we got it all ready to go there last week, and kind of got snowed in and had to dig everything out just to get loaded up.
I know. I talked to you a couple times last week, and we've been trying to hook up for 2 or 3 days now to do this, and you've had a rough way to go, man. That's a fact. But I have to ask you this, man. This is the cliche question. After that deal in Fort Wayne, was it a long ride home or not?
It wasn't too bad. She was more mad at the guy who actually wrecked her than she was me running into her, because another guy got into her and got her spun her out, and I kind of just run into the accident. And she was more mad at that, and then the fact that we had a lot of work to fix the frame, because we didn't even plan on running it. It was all ready to go to Chili Bowl, and the indoor car I normally run, we couldn't get the thing to run right, so we just decided to throw that thing together real quick and it paid off pretty good the first night, but second night kind of went downhill.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll stop talking about that, man. But that leads, that leads us into what the second part of your story this week out in Tulsa is, and the fact that car was hurt pretty bad up at Fort Wayne, and you've been thrashing, getting the car together, put back together to get out there to Tulsa, and going from an indoor, I don't know what to call that, man. I'll call it concrete, but I think you was the one that termed it rubber track. So I'm not sure what to call that service, but going from that to dirt. But I talked to you a little bit up there at the Chili Bowl about all the changes that are at the Rumble that you had to, the changes you had to make to that car. Like you said, it was set up and already ready to go to Tulsa. What were some, now, obviously people that didn't hear that interview, what are some of the things that you had to do setup wise on the car to go from the concrete surface to the dirt surface out of the Chili Bowl?
On the dirt, we were in torsion bars in the rear of the car, and there's a lot of guys that'll take their dirt cars and keep them on torsion bars, but I never really liked it when we run them on with the Coke syrup tracks, or it's running on concrete with Coke syrup, and it lays down probably about a quarter to half inch thick rubber. And I never liked it, so we kind of had to put the thing on coilovers in the back, and you have different front shocks, different compression ratios, and then you have a longer front axle and different pickup points, kind of make it more like a pavement car, and just kind of widen the wheelbase out, or lengthen the wheelbase out a little bit on it, and widen out the car some, just to make the car drive a lot better on pavement, so it's not kind of real twitchy.
So on top, how long does it take? I don't know. We got a lot of rookie stripers out there, and I think I know what your answer is going to be. But how long does it take to make changes like that on the car? Now, leave all the damage that was done out of it, but just to switch a car from going to a hard surface to a dirt surface like that.
We had everything pretty much ready, because what we did, we took all the dirt stuff off, and we had a bunch of our spare parts for the dirt. We just kind of converted a few things over, and I already had a pavement axle I had to cut apart and modify. And basically, really, after Fort Wayne, minus having to fix the frame on it, it was probably about 20, 30 minutes worth of work putting it back together. But, the initial put it together to go run the Coke syrup was probably about 4 or 5 hours worth of work, just because we had to build everything to make it work.
Right. That's amazing that you can make all those changes that quick and go from one to the other. Now, all right, let's focus on the big reason, the number one story we're following with you this week. Your first Chili Bowl, man. You've been midget racing, like I said, for about 12 years or so, but you're out there for your first Chili Bowl. Tell me what you was thinking about going down the road, man. I know you got a late start last night heading out there, so tell me about the trip out last night.
So way out here, man, I got a mechanic of mine, and he's from Tulsa here, and we heard every story about his life on the way out here about how great Tulsa was. So, we left Indianapolis at 5 p.m. when we got here into Tulsa. We weren't going to drive straight through, but we decided to. We got here at 3 a.m., and not a single one of us were tired. We were ready to go, and, we were all just pumped up for the weekend. And we got here, kind of drove around for a little bit, just took some cat naps in the parking lot and waited for load in, and it wasn't too bad of a trip out here. So
now, what was you thinking? Did he keep your mind off what you was going out there to do, or has it hit you yet what you're getting ready to do tomorrow?
As our group, I've been with him helping out me for the last 5 years. We go to the racetrack. We always have that in our mind that we are capable of winning and doing good. But we never really talk about that and get ourselves overpsyched. We kind of just keep a mellow stream at it, and just the main concern is just have fun and do our best we can. And, if something happens, we got something that's going to keep a smile on our face, and that's how we've always been. And, when he first started helping me, it was when I was running Ford Focus midgets, and in the 2 years we ran the midgets together, we won 17 races together, and we never really bothered, with too much of a serious look on our face. Just we go there and do the best we can, knowing that we can pull off a win if all the circumstances are right.
I believe that. I don't believe it. I know that's a fact. I've seen you do it. I know what you're talking about. The Chili Bowl, the competition level out there, preliminary nights, the heat races, it's like, I don't know, stacked features, you know what I mean? Superstar shows out here through the Midwest, but each heat is like that. And then you throw in the passing points and everything else. Have you thought much about any of that yet?
I'm always the worst at field draws. Like, our local Indiana sprint car tracks, if you pull a high number, you're in the back of a heat race, or you pull a low number, you're in the front of a heat race. in that kind of circumstance, it's good to pull like a number one because you're going to start on the front, you finish up front, you transfer. Start in the back, you finish mid-pack, you're going to start bad. But like here, I know what's probably going to happen is I'll end up pulling a one, which would start me on a pole, and if I run second in the heat race, it sounds good, but you could be in the C main right off the bat. Versus if I start sixth and I run third, I could be up, toward the front of a qualifier, just how the circumstances is. And if my luck does a role reversal, it's one of them deals where you got to win the heat race right off the bat if you start on the pole, and if you don't, you're kind of behind the eight ball.
Yeah, that's true, man. It's all about. It seems to me it's all about mistakes out there, and it's whoever can make the least amount of mistakes over the course of the week is usually going to have a pretty good week out there. Now you're heading out there, and who's writing the checks to get you out there, man?
We got a guy, Randall Williams, is helping us out. We got Sunshine Trailer Park down in Tampa, Florida. Schroeder Torsion Bars, CNR Racing, Brown and Miller Racing Solutions, Hinchman Raceware. They're helping us out on everything just to get us to and from the racetrack. So I appreciate all the help they've been giving us for the last few years.
That's a good deal, man. That's a lot of good sponsors. There's good people there in those companies that you was just talking about. All right, Joe, we're going to be talking to you every day, man. I'm going to be bugging you every day, man. You're going to be sick and tired of me come next Sunday morning. So, but anybody else you want to give shout out to before we get out of here, man?
I got to thank my wife for all the help she's been giving with us, and my mechanics. I got a hired mechanic, an old buddy of mine from Florida. He's been helping Jacob Wilson out last few years, and he helped them go to the win at a little 500 and win a couple must-see races. He's out here helping us, my buddy Sean Grimes, and then of course Wally Sexton, our local comedian of our pit crew, and he's the guy that no matter what, you could destroy a car and he's going to come in and laugh about. So he's going to tell you some story about what happened about him destroying a car, and people think most of his stories are fake, but there's about 90% of his stories are true. There's just that extra 10% of kicker added in.
The older you get, Joe, and the longer you've been in the racing community, the better those stories get with age. There's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like whiskey. They get better with time, man. At any rate, man.
Exactly.
I guess I got one more question for you before we get out of here. For all the fans out there that follow you and your racing, what is it that you do away from the track and away from the garage, man? Leave racing out of it. What do you like to do personally, man?
Man, we've got a little fab shop. I like doing some fabrication work, and as a hobby, I sit and I race slot cars. It's a racing thing, I guess, but that's a hobby I've had since I was about 12 years old, and sit and do that. And that's why we kind of got a late start here, because I had a race in Richmond, Indiana, which was on the opposite side of the state than Oklahoma is, and went there and basically just played with some toy cars before we made the long ride here.
Yeah, I was talking to you after you got home from there. We're going to talk to you more about that on the Cushion Media Group page. We're going to have after the Chili Bowl's over, I want to talk to you about that slot car race, and we'll do another deal on that. But we'll be talking to you every morning, Joe. Good luck out there, man. Be safe, brother. Race smart, race hard, man, and I think good things are going to be happening for you.
Yep, we appreciate it.
All right, man, there you have it. Joe Liguori out of Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Chili Bowl 2014, man. We're going to be talking to him every day. You can catch it right here on the Cushion Media Group page, Burning Rubber Radio, Performance Motorsports Network, or any of the drivers or anybody associated with the show. The link's going to be posted on their pages. So we will catch you all for tomorrow's show. And with that, we're out of here.
Ever hire, never quit. Lofty goals in this age of shoddy quality, corporate indifference, and built-in obsolescence. It's a beacon of light in a crowded field of mediocrity. The way a company is run is an indication of how you, the customer, is going to be treated. You have a lot of choices when you're searching for auto and performance parts online and at the corner parts store. So why should you buy from Excelsior Racing? Because they're simply the best online parts supplier in the business. If you're looking for selection, ease of ordering, cost, and prompt delivery, look no further. If you have a question, our customer service hotline, staffed by knowledgeable gearheads like you, will ensure that you get what you need to fix or mod your car or truck. With 1,000 suppliers, you're guaranteed to get what you need. First time, every time. Excelsior Racing. Excellence on the track. Excellence on the road. excellence in customer service. Online at ExcelsiorRacing.com or call 502-909-2034.